And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, from Massillon, Ohio, for a little YSN Prime Time Live. DJ Oakley here, Steve Leslie right next to me, Dom O'Brien will join us shortly. We're here live from the scene of the crime, where Warren JFK will take on New Bremen today for the Division 7 state championship. Steve Leslie, you know this team very well. You saw them last week. What are we in for here for kickoff at 1:15?
I think the first thing that's key to me, and I know you agree with this, is coming back to an environment that you played at last week.
100%.
I think there's a lot of comfortability there. I saw Coach Perlogo a little bit ago, was very excited about that. Not that you would not be excited to play over at Orbitz, but you go to a place that's, let's be honest, the home of high school football. I'm expecting to see another typical JFK performance. Good defense and the three-headed monster on offense, leading it with Cam and those guys do a great job. But I listened to a lot of your stuff during the week as you've covered JFK and do a great job with that. The defense, I think, does not get enough credit. They have continued to get better every week. A couple weeks ago, I think it was Lucas. That was supposed to be. They shut them out. So defensively, they continue to get better. And I'm with you. The sophomore linebacker in the middle, I love watching play.
Hozo.
I love watching him play. I can't wait to watch this. Great environment. People are starting to filter into the stadium. Hats off to Massillon. Let's be honest. All the staff here at Massillon, when we got here, they've been phenomenal. They had probably, 24 hours to get everything situated. The press box is fabulous, have us all spaced out. So hats off to them. And Tim Street was here. Hats off to him. He has been nothing but great to all of us at YSN. He's here. He's done a great job. And, you have to salute both sides. They come to a happy medium. Hats off to Massillon. It's going to be a great day to win a state championship.
It is, one way or the other. Warren JFK is ready. I mean, not to knock New Bremen, but you and I came a little bit early. We walked in, and the first thing you and I both kind of looked at each other and said was,
happy to be here.
They're happy to be here. And you look at JFK right now, and it looks like they put down their briefcases. It looks like the clock is about to be punched. This is a business trip for JFK. You've coached in many of great and big games in your career. What are you telling your players at this point that you haven't told them already?
It's funny that you say that. And we listened to Sean last week, and I know Coach Perlogo is the same way. I love the way they both treat it just like it's another game. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's the state championship. These kids know that. They're not, they know it's a state championship. I just love Coach Perlogo's demeanor. I love the way he is with them as a football team. And I think those kids feed off of how he reacts. He's calm. But I'm with you. It's a business trip. They came out. They didn't walk around the field and parade it. They weren't throwing footballs everywhere. No disrespect to New Bremen, but this is a football team that expects to go home to Warren with a state championship.
And this is a team that doesn't have a whole lot of tape out there unless you've watched YSN,
right.
And New Bremen's in the same boat. They don't have a lot of tape to study. What you get, or what you see is what you get. And they're, according to some of the players, some of the parents, some of the coaches, there hasn't been a lot to see of New Bremen. So if you're kind of going against the unknown, what's the strategy going into it? On both sides there's a good quarterback. It's kind of like that Spider-Man meme that one's pointing at the other. When you're looking at the mirror, what's the first thing you try to do to break down the same team as you?
I think when you look at it, you almost have to go to the first couple possessions of the ball game and kind of get a feel for how fast they are, how big they are, what they like to do. The assistant coaches play a big key for Coach Perlogo in this game. What they're seeing up in the box, what formations they're getting. It's all new, and everybody has something new. But for New Bremen, what they're going to get is a whole lot of number 9. I know that. There's a whole lot of things that he does, but I love the way we talked last week when you and Dom were doing the game. They disguise different plays so very well. Different formations, but the same blocking schemes, the same types of things. I'm pumped for Trumbull County and these JFK kids. They come out on the field with a purpose.
So when you're looking at Cam Hollabaugh, obviously Jesse Likens, the likes of Gabe Green, they're going to be featured, right, on offense. But we saw last week Sejon Kudo continues. Every time you look at this JFK team, someone else steps up. I mean, do you feel it's the same way that JFK, funny enough, still hitting their stride in the state championship?
Getting better every week. Kudo was outstanding. Here, another one, 21, Fordley. Had some big catches last week. Had the knockdown. Fordley, I'm sorry. These guys a lot better than I do, but had the knockdown in the end zone, but caught a couple big passes when the game was tight. Have a lot of weapons that I think you may see some of those new weapons again tonight because obviously I expect New Bremen to have a spy on Cam. The middle linebacker or linebacker is going to go wherever Cam goes. And then Likens, that opens up space for him. Kudo. Those guys do a great job, DJ, of finding space. Gabe Green's another one, had the big pick. He's another. They're just – what I like about them is – and let's be honest, if you're here, every team's good. That's not just – but they're talented at every level. Kiernan on the line of scrimmage, the linebackers, the back end, the quarterback, the running backs. This is a not huge roster numbers-wise, but a talented roster.
This is a crazy statistic. Now, obviously, we've talked about it at length on Running Point all week. This team, New Bremen, coming out of the MAC, and everybody knows that's a pretty doggone good conference. However, as we've said publicly on our shows, publicly on our partnership shows, you don't play games on paper. You play them on a football field. Pretty nice football field. Yeah. Not a whole lot of weather to speak of. We'll get you with the Storm Tracker 21 app and weather forecast here coming up in just a little bit. But you look at New Bremen, we talked about it being a mirror image of Cam Hollabaugh on the other side of the football. It's also a mirror image of records. Almost if you flip the state in half, if you fold it in half, New Bremen is almost directly across from Warren. So you look at this. They've got no state championships, no state runners-up, state semifinalists once, obviously this year, and the total playoff appearance, 4. Then you look at the other side as we're looking into our stats here. 2 state championships in 2016, 1991 for Warren JFK, 3 state runners-up. Then you have state semifinalists 8 times.
25 appearances.
And 25 appearances.
That's pretty good.
I mean, is there a moment that comes for this team who is – never been in a state championship, this particular team, that is too for them? Is the spotlight ever going to be too bright for Warren JFK?
Well, I would compare them a lot to a Springfield. We've talked with Sean. They got to the game last year. You're happy to be there. You don't know what to tell your team. That's why I think it's a huge advantage for JFK. These kids, 2016 is not that far off where they witnessed their school win a state championship. I just have that gut feeling that if it takes New Bremen a quarter to get settled in, this could be over.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, JFK.
Not in a disrespectful way. They could come out full cannons and put up a couple quick touchdowns, and then your game plan has changed.
To talk to Coach Prologo right after the game last week and say, hey, you're one of the best at adjusting in the entire state, he didn't deny it.
No.
And he's not gonna pat himself on the back. No. But if you look at the way JFK came out, that second half opened things up.
Kickoff return.
9 first downs, you
9
said,
first
before?
downs in the middle of the third quarter, and a good newer Catholic team didn't have any. So their staff is outstanding. It really is. And I think they're the key to the game, that they're going to want to come out and start fast, having been in these situations before.
Yeah, we're excited to keep the motor turning here.
You're ready to start calling us bad boy right now. You got 50
ready in the
minutes.
car.
Yeah, you and Dom's like standing with the arms crossed. The smiles here, folks, are phenomenal. And everybody's excited that, let's be honest, these games are being played.
Yeah.
It got a little dicey, I'm sure.
Yeah, and let's be real. Like we talk about New Bremen happy to be here. JFK happy to be here,
No
but
doubt.
they're not going to be accomplished. They're not going to stamp it until they're holding the big trophy
Right.
about 3 hours from now. So we got about 66 minutes before kickoff. Stevie, talk about, from a coach's perspective, Coach Prologo playing his first ever state championship as a head ball coach. What's the difference between being one of the coaches and being the head football coach?
Pressure. And he'll never show that. He'll never – but you can guarantee that the insides are churning a little bit, obviously. But on his end of it, Deej, he's been around a lot of great coaches, coached with a lot of great guys. And I see that. I see when I watch him play a lot of different things with different people. He's been a part of the state championships before. He does a very good job as an assistant coach. And in my opinion, he's carried it over as the head coach, and that's not an easy thing to do when you're used to being a position coach, being a coordinator, doing those types of things. Now you're the big guy in charge that makes that 4th and 2 decision. Hey, we're going for it. I love his demeanor. I love the way he was. The best way I think I could describe him, last week he sat with you and you asked him, did you expect to be here? And he said, you want me to be honest?
I'd be
yes,
pissed.
He's honest.
Yeah.
He'd be pissed if he wasn't here. So that's the kind of guy I want leading a program that I'm a part of, and I know that Mr. Keneally, the principal, does a great job in their school, and I know they love everything about Coach Perlogo.
Get a shout out here to Jody Hollabaugh, who's I'm assuming watching from across the way. Hi, Jody. We'll wave at you here. Also want to give a shout out to our sponsor here, iSynergy. Very close partners here with us. They do a lot for us. They make sure we get on the air each and every time, no problems. And we want to, especially Steve Cross and his whole team over there, they do a great job of making sure that YSN continues to be your leader in sports entertainment in the Valley. So, Steve, when you think about COVID, right? We've talked about it at length, obviously, with mask up, have a season, all this stuff. When you think about where we've come from week one, or I should say week 0, and not knowing if we're going to have a season, how long we're going to have a season, we get through the entire season here. These teams are standing, waiting to play for a championship. 11:30 yesterday, Tim Street, his team, they look at in the OHSA, they say, listen,
we got to make a decision.
We got to make a decision. It was a tough decision. It was one that probably didn't go well for many teams, but for this Warren JFK team, it was a very easy decision and a very thumbs-up decision. Hey, we're ready to ride. I know a lot of parents that canceled reservations to Columbus, things of that nature. From your standpoint, does that make a difference, spending the night in your own bed as opposed to spending a night in a hotel room?
I think that's absolutely huge. I do. I've been a part of many road trips, get to travel with YSU. To play at home and play in familiarity is huge, and I think that's not going to be the reason why we win a state championship, but I think for these kids to be at home, practice again at home last night. Now, let's be honest, they were leaving about an hour after they got the news that they were here. I think it's an advantage. I really, truly do that they were able to kind of stay in their routine. Obviously, New Bremen had a 3-hour ride over here, but again, when you're playing in the state finals, these guys would play over there on the baseball field if they mapped out 100 yards and got after it. But I'm with you. I think that that's a key. You're a lot of travel. Obviously, I would have to believe New Bremen probably came up last night and spent the night. It's a long trip to do 3 hours and get into those routines of eating and your team meetings. So advantage JFK, Coach Perlogo, when I asked him, I said, what do you think about this? He goes, I love it. You know, not that you wouldn't want to go play somewhere else, but you're close, that the fans of Warren are close. And those things didn't have an effect on the football team, the canceling rooms, the ADs and the principals and the administrators do those things. This football team just has one job to do with their coaches, hone in on New Bremen, and hopefully about 3 hours from now you'll have Coach Perlogo and we'll be talking a state championship.
Well, let's look at it from another perspective, the last minute. Obviously, it's what had to be done. Does that affect the team one way or the other?
See, then I will say for them, yes. I have to truly believe that. You think you're going to Columbus today, probably a half-hour ride for them, I'm guessing. Those are all guesses on my end. But then the decision, 11:30, then you have to book hotel rooms, book some charter buses and get on the road and go because – or they could have left this morning. But if they were leaving this morning, Deej, I'm just guessing it was probably a 7 o'clock departure from.
There's no way. They were here before we got here.
Yeah, so I would think
got to believe they were here last night.
But that's a big difference. Now your routine's out of whack. You had a practice plan yesterday. You scrapped that, obviously. JFK wasn't planning on practicing and then got a little workout in yesterday. So two different scenarios, but I think the state and Tim got it right that I give him a lot of credit to make a decision and be firm about one spot and one place where you can get 6 games, and it'll be a great weekend here.
I'll tell you what, we're looking down at the field right now.
Those
You've
whites
got
look nice,
New
don't they?
Bremen in their red tops, white bottoms, and golden helmets. And then you on the other side, you've got Warren JFK in those clean white uniforms with the blue helmets, of course, big white K and red face mask. Man, they look good.
Yes, they do.
They look good.
They passed the eye test for sure with the uniforms, no doubt.
Red, white, and blue will never fail. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the color commentator, Dom O'Brien, the voice of Warren JFK and the Warren JFK grad, will join us. We'll talk more about this state championship in Division 7 live from Massillon, Ohio, when we return on the YSN Prime Time.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plan still meets your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Massillon, Ohio. Paul Brown Tiger Stadium, DJ Oakley, joined by the commentator, Dom O'Brien, graduate of Warren JFK, and the guy that will be coloring in the picture for you during our audio broadcast of today's Division 7 state championship. Dom, we had a chance to obviously work together the last few weeks on this, and continually JFK just keeps getting better and better and better. It started off with we haven't seen JFK's best game, and here we are. The state championship is today the day that we see the complete picture unfold.
I believe that the entire picture is it's going to be like a pop-up book. You know, it's going to unfold completely. It's just going to be, this is going to be a great performance. Like I said in the past, I didn't expect them to play as good as they did in the past. They just kept, like you said, they keep getting better and better. The defense is an absolute monster. The offense, too, is an absolute beast. And I want to point out, I got the hoodie right here from last year, or not last championship. So that's
a little bit of good juju,
luck.
huh?
Yeah, a little good juju, but it's one of my favorite hoodies.
Love it. Hopefully you can get another one.
Hopefully I can get another one. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what the Eagles have planned up for this new Bremen team. They've been, the Eagles have been doing really good on defense overall. I mean, they give very few points in general. I can't remember the last time they gave over like 20 was probably against Howland, and they've just been an unstoppable force on the offense. When you talk about that three-headed monster, you got Likens, Hollabaugh, and Green. And then if you want to throw a fourth one in there, you can put Sejan Kudo in there as well, because he's another one. Yeah, you can put a lot of them in there. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you got Hozo, Kiernan, Morrow, Iceman.
The Iceman.
It's really, I'm really excited to see what they have to offer right now.
Cam's mom saying,
hey,
hello, Dom. So excited. As you should be over there.
As we should.
Bundled up in the elements. I'll tell you what, it's not bad. It's like 50-some degrees right now.
No, it's pretty good.
But this,
here.
For some reason, in Massillon, Ohio, the sub-temp just drops 10 degrees more than everywhere else in Ohio. I don't know if it's just the abundance of football. Hey, there we go.
Let's go.
Our friends from Massillon here chiming in. We love it. And again, we talked last week. You couldn't have a better home for a state championship.
Oh, no. I mean, we were originally at the original venue. I was excited to go back, and like go back to the shoe or everything like that. But when it was moved to here, I'm like, oh, well, this is just as good. Like, I love this stadium. It's absolutely remarkable. They do a really good job here managing everything. Mm-hmm. And it's like we did mention, like, this should be the place they should have a state championship.
Always.
And then
Always.
Now we got it. Now we got what we asked
To
for.
me, it's the home of high school football everywhere.
Oh,
They got
yeah.
a movie, for crying out loud. So, we've talked about it all week about where it would be. Yesterday, the page turned on us. We talked to Steve already about, how this would affect the players. I mean, you're friends with a lot of these guys. How did it affect them? What's their mindset going into today's game?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. They're probably a little nervous knowing them. I mean, but I was thinking about what Prologo would be thinking right now. And as we said in the last time, when we talked to him, he doesn't let anything get to him. He's very just straightforward. And when they asked, did you expect to be here? He's like, I'd be pissed if they weren't.
Yep.
So I imagine, this team would be pretty angry if they weren't in this position right now because they're just such a good team. Last year, we were thinking when they lost in, I think, the regional round, we were just wondering, like, dang, this team could be really, really good next year because Jesse and Cam were playing absolutely phenomenal last year. And then we said, they still got one more year. They still got one more year to go, and this is what they're looking at like right now. So I think that this is going to be something – this has just been something to behold for these entire few weeks.
I just remember talking to some parents last year, and they said, listen, 2020, this is great. Everything happened in 2019. We're really excited. We're really, really proud. Everything that happened past a certain point was just a cherry on the top.
Oh, yeah.
Here, 2020 was the season they expected. This is what they're where they expected to be. And I think there's a difference between the shock factor of being where you are and expecting to be where you are right now.
Yeah, there's completely a difference. It doesn't really matter what ends up happening in the year. You think about what you want to do the next year. No matter what hits come your way, you're still going to push through and do what you need to do.
Right.
This team is dead set on completing that goal at getting a state championship victory, and I believe that they can do it here today.
You were around for the 2016 state championship.
Yes.
Talk to me about what another championship banner would mean in that high school to everybody and the entire Blue Pride.
Oh, this would mean so much to the entire Eagle family. I mean, it was a while before we won that state championship. It was a good 30 years or so. I mean, but this one it would mean so much more because of all the circumstances that have taken place this year, because of what the situations have come to. And now with this team, like we said, this isn't the biggest team in the world, but it's the will that they have, and it's the strength inside that they have that they can just push through and be better than a 1 through 99 team. I mean, this team is just so strong-willed, and they're just the toughest high school team, I think, in one of the toughest high school teams in the state.
In
this division.
I do not doubt that at all. I mean, we've talked about the size of teams the last 3 weeks. Yes, you can line up from sideline to sideline, do your stretches, and do your warm-ups, but it all comes down to 11 on 11. And I got to be honest, if I'm rolling the dice and I'm putting 11 guys out there, they're probably all going to be wearing those white uniforms today, and they're all going to have the giant K on the side of their helmet. Warren JFK, for people who don't know, very just tight-knit school. Everybody's a band of brothers and sisters there. Talk to me about, again, I know we talked about what it would mean to the school. What would it mean to the alumni like yourself? What would it mean to the school moving forward? And just what would it mean to these youngsters on the field today?
I mean, it's considered bragging rights. You know what I mean? I mean,
you say,
yeah, when you come in here with a team that's like this, with a small team that's as big as they are inside, it would give you so much more of a reason to be proud to be part of John F. Kennedy High School. And I'm very proud to be an alumni of there.
As you should.
And I want to point out two things. One, this is the outfit they wore when they won the 2016 state championship. Two, there's a lot of guys on here that are related to the people. You got Sammy Hindy, Hadley, Caleb Hadley. You got a lot of people that were part of that state championship thing. They have younger siblings that come out and want to play their best football, and they're doing just that. But it would just mean so much to the entire Kennedy family. Whether you graduated 10 years ago or last year, it would mean so much, because I just met up with some classmates that I graduated with here, and they were like, yeah, we had to come here. We wouldn't want to miss this. So that just means so much how much faith we have in this whole football team.
From your standpoint, obviously you weren't on the air announcing the championship game. To be able to be in a seat to announce the place where you went to school. A lot of these youngsters you're friends with. You're friends with the coaches. It's a family atmosphere.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you? I guess nobody's asked you that question yet.
I've been thinking about this since we won the game last week. I've been thinking about this. I'm like, this is so crazy because my freshman year of high school, we won and went to the state championship. My freshman year of college, the same team's going to the state championship, but this time I'm behind the mic. And I was thinking about that over and over for the past 6 days, and I was like, there is no way that this is happening. And it just means so much because I always say I want to thank this entire school for everything they've helped me do to get to where I want to be in my future. You know, if I wasn't at the school, I wouldn't be here right now. And it just means so much to me in that sense because like I said, I don't know where I would be if I wasn't a part of the school. And just thinking back on those times where we had a state championship victory in my freshman year, and I'm just recollecting all of that and hugging people and everything, you know, it's just, I'm so excited for this. This is probably one of the bigger highlights of my life right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Happy to have you here. Nick Colosimo, happy to have you here. This young man needs to be going into broadcast. This cat is smooth.
Appreciate it, Nick.
He already is. He deserves to be. So, yes, we know. We know. He's the up-and-comer. He is the future of YSN, and he's here today to announce a state championship. Before we go, we're going to go to about 12:30 here until we get ready for our broadcast. That will kick off about 1:05 p.m. And kickoff officially set for 1:15 from Paul Brown Tiger Stadium here in Massillon, Ohio. So we'll give you a little bit of the audio side in case you missed what we're doing right now. Again, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor. It is iSynergy who's bringing this game and this pregame show to you, YSN Primetime Live, to you here this morning, I guess this afternoon. It's been a long morning already, but
I know.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, we talk about the players, we talk about the coaches. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night because I was ready I'm ready to play this game for them. I want it bad because, honestly, Dawn, when you think about it, there's a lot of negative Nancy's out there that say the MAC conference, the MAC conference, the MAC. Great. That's fantastic. Tip of the cap, if I had one, to the MAC conference and everybody that comes out of it. But, you know, we talk a lot about the mental toughness, the grit City, USA. That is Youngstown, Ohio. And listen, our people, I will always put our people up against anybody. And that's just not in football. That's in life because there's a determination when the game's on the line. You want somebody from Youngstown, somebody that came from nothing, that has earned everything in Northeast Ohio. As LeBron said, you know, nothing is given, everything is earned. And today, JFK has a chance to earn their third state championship title and set the tone for a Springfield team that will be on this very same field this Sunday at 5 o'clock.
That's going to be a good game to
It is. Both these games are going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you've got one speech in you and you're the guy that's delivering the motivational speech in the locker room before the game, the stage is yours, my friend.
Listen, they've come so far. You know, they've come so far to where they are right now. And if you don't give everything you've got, then you can just walk out the locker room, okay? You've come so far in this dire season, in this season where the impossible has happened, where nobody thought that we would even have a football season. You've come so far to come to a state championship. If you don't give it your all, if you don't just try to, you may chip a tooth or something, you know, you never know. But this is your time to make the headlines. This is your time to be known in your school for saying, hey, I won a state championship in a pandemic. If you don't respect that, I don't know what's going on. But this is it right here. This is the epitome of state championships because of everything that's went on. And I don't doubt anybody on this team that won't give it their all. Because whether you're a freshman or you're Cam Hollabaugh, you're going to give it your all because you know how much this championship means to the team and you know how much that this means to the entire Kennedy family. So I guarantee you that this team is going to play lights out. They're going to play remarkable, and I don't see any of them looking at giving up in sight.
For the past 15 weeks, Coach Prologo has talked about wanting a seat at the table. Ladies and gentlemen, the table is set. The turkey's on the table, and it is time to eat. It's officially Thanksgiving week, and we here at YSN are ready to get out the knife, get out the fork, and JFK is ready to put this one away. Will they have the lead seat, the head seat at the table when it's all said and done? I think so. Will they? You'll find out in just a few minutes on YSN. We appreciate you tuning in to YSN Primetime Live, brought to you by iSynergy. Don't go very far because kickoff set for 1:15 will be on the air on Facebook and on ysnlive.com at 1:05. For Dom O'Brien, for Steve Leslie, my name's DJ Oakley. We will see you at 1:05.